Hello everybody, welcome to Idle Game Chat. This is Dimp Digital's weekly video games podcast. You've got myself Apps here running the operations for this episode. I'm joined by Logan the Forgotten and Mark Smith Biff. Gents, how we doing?
Yeah, pretty good. There was many a rumour circulating that there have been fractures in the Dimp Digital team that have been dropped. No media comment had been made. Everyone was asking questions. I was getting tweeted and everything, but I'm back.
You are back. There was no falling out despite that. Logan just went on a holiday. I just wasn't used for 6 weeks, which happens sometimes with the amount of people we've got. Biff, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm alright, thanks. Yeah, I'm good.
Unexpected to be back this soon, because normally you're only helicoptered in for bullshit, so you've actually been...
Just filler, aren't I?
Yeah, if I'm really struggling, I think, well, I'll get him in, but...
He's not got a life, he'll come on. No, yeah, I know. I'm shocked when I got the nod, but I'm in.
You're in. Well, the reason why you're in, and the reason why Logan's here, and the reason why I'm here, there's no point pissing about. No Man's Sky is finally here. Piper's year complete. This is all he's been waiting for. We've all played it. I think I've probably played the most. Logan's probably played the least. Biff in the medium kind of range. I've probably got to near 18 hours now, I reckon, so far into this. And really, I've not made much progress in the great scheme of things. Like, if you actually look at what I've done productively, not a lot's actually occurred. Namely because I restarted once. So I did actually lose about 5 hours doing that on the first time. Yeah, that needs to... It's the problem I've got, and I'll explain the rules I've put in place later on, so you can laugh at me. But
it's a problem I've got.
It is. I just can't. It is an issue. It's something I just have to accept that especially an open world game like this, it will need a restart. Usually it's within a couple of hours. I don't normally lose 5 hours, so disappointed with myself there. But I want to start with you, Logan, because I think you've probably played the least so far. You've been trying to sort of wean yourself onto it because you've got a couple of weeks off coming up and you want to really smash it then, but you've been, not really powering it out, doing a couple of hours here and there. High level, What are your thoughts?
I've been thinking about this, unsurprisingly.
That's why you're here.
I don't know yet what to make of it.
Right, this is what 6 weeks hiatus has happened, because these sort of comments get said.
I don't know what to make of it.
So I think I'm probably 5 to 6 hours in, so it's not a lot. I think in my mind I'm trying not to treat it like almost any other game I've played.
Why is this getting special treatment?
Right. It is essentially, they've given you this procedurally generated world and said, go and have a little look.
Yeah.
Is basically what it is, and you can get into whatever detail you like. You can become a trader if that's what you want to do, so you go mine, get bits, sell them at a profit. You can go around causing problems, fucking upsetting alien races. It's sort of up to you what you make of it. There's not really, in my books, it's trying to get me to do bits on the story, and I'm just like, no, I'll do what I want when I want, but how do you work it?
Yeah, the story. So for people worried about spoilers, I don't think we're going to even be able to touch on any, because not a great deal happened. It is quite open ended.
Yeah, it's not like we've been very wary, especially around Piper, due to these spoilers. But in all honesty,
fuck him.
Yeah, that's not a bad way to say it. But in all honesty, what is a spoiler on this game?
Well, just no. The only thing I can think of is that when you get to the end, you find out whatever. But the journey to it doesn't seem so far like there's a lot of twists or turns that you're going to be encountering. You never know. It might kick off eventually, but the nature of the game is very passive in that sense. It doesn't jam it down your throat.
I do like it, I think. I like the idea that I can just sit on there and I don't really have to pay too much attention to what I'm doing. I can sort of just chill out, have a little look around. But then it will catch you off guard with a few bits that might attack you or something. But generally it will let you just peacefully get on with it. But I've had a bit of trouble getting my head around it.
Yeah.
In that, because there's no story or tutorial really to teach you what to do, it sort of tries to get you to do bits in the story without telling you what you're supposed to be doing, if that makes sense. So it's sort of like, go and do that. And you're like, well, how do I do that? What am I doing? What's all this shit around me? What's going on? Like, it doesn't introduce bits gradually. No. It just sort of goes, right, you're there, do that. And you go, well, hold on. What are we doing here? How have I got here? What's going on? So there's no story really. It feels like it's going to be one of these bolt-on jobbies where they've. Do you know what I mean though? Like they've got an idea that they wanted, like they wanted to create this open world for you to explore, basically. But they went, well, if we don't put anything in, then they're going to be really struggling. So they've gone
give
for
them
this.
some sort of guide, yeah, some breadcrumbs to follow.
That's basically what it is. But yeah, I think you helping me out a little bit. I mean, I had to haul you in about an hour and a half in. I went, right, get in here. What am I doing? I don't know what's going on.
Yeah,
You sort of helped me out a bit. But
so one thing I do, well, I think is a good tip for this is people want to go in blind. They want to go in not knowing anything. That to me is a recipe for disaster. Like that's it. When I restarted that second time, I enjoyed it 10 times more because I had a kind of handle of what is going on and didn't just bumble around wasting time. And I was actually being a little bit more productive. And there's little things that it just does not explain to you. You just have to kind of figure out yourself through trial and repetition. And I've figured out what these bypass chips do and all that. And I've been using those to locate landmarks. If you go in completely blind, then you will. I think you'll struggle. And that can be an issue for people. Try and read up on little bits and bobs, or if you've got a group of people that are playing it, share what you've experienced. I think that's the best way to do it.
That's one thing I said to you, or I said to the group when this was coming out. I said, if it doesn't show you the ropes, it will be a struggle.
Yeah.
And it shows you 20% of the ropes, I think, at best.
Shows you a rope.
Yeah, and then goes, right, follow that. And then you're just left to figure the rest out. And that is a bit of a bugbear for me because I was hoping that it'd introduce. Even Minecraft has got a basic tutorial where it goes, right, this is what you're doing.
Well, the problem with that is people hate tutorials in some aspects. They go, I don't want to be handheld through it. Let me just go out and do it.
This needs it though, to just dump you in and just go, off you go. You go, well, yeah, I can have a little look round, but in all honesty, what am I doing? And I've grasped a few bits from some of the streams I watched because I tried not to get too involved too early, but as it come up to it, I started watching a few bits and reading up and sort of trying to get a handle on it. But then when you're actually stuck in front of it and it's sort of up to you to do it, it's a bit different as well. So I was sort of sitting there and I was like, right, well, what's this Atlas chip? Where's that come from? What am I doing with that? Why does everything need it? What's this bypass chip?
Yeah.
What do I need to power what? Do I have to keep topping it? Like all these things that I'm just not really told. I have to keep trying to figure out. But if you take that away from it and then actually look at it from a creative perspective, it's really quite good. Just to be able to, I like the idea of just being able to have a potter about, really.
Yeah.
See what's what and have a look at something that someone else probably hasn't seen yet. So.
Well, there you go. That is 6 weeks worth of, built up aggression there from Logan, just trying to get his points out on a 6-minute rant. Anything and everything. Yeah. High level, what do you think of the game? We got that. So, an in-depth analysis from Logan. Biff, you've played a similar amount to me. Do you agree or disagree with, particularly when it doesn't tell you what to do? Would you prefer if the game was a little bit more forgiving in that sense, i.e. it kind of gave you a bit more direction, or do you quite like that it gives you breadcrumbs to slowly follow and work bits out yourself?
To be honest, I thought it was pretty not that self-explanatory, but I mean, I am not the most intelligent person, but I managed to work it out on my own. I got the ship off the planet, fixed it all up without looking on the internet or doing anything or reading anything.
Yeah.
Once I know the controls, you're away. There was on the options. So once I knew what all the buttons did, you're laughing. I thought it was pretty intuitive, to be honest. I didn't sort of struggle with it too much. There's more complicated stuff that I weren't too sure on. Yeah. Those bypass chips, how to discover, different bits and bits like that. But, the actual powering of the ship and the powering everything and, mining, I thought was pretty easy to get a grasp of.
Shut Logan down then. The fundamentals are pretty easy. I think the game gets a lot more complex as you go on in terms of I've got technology with like items that I just haven't seen yet, and they've got to be powered by a certain item. What was you expecting when you come into this game, Biff? Did you have any kind of preconceived notion? Because you admittedly basically said the reason why you were getting hyped up with it is because Piper was ranting and raving.
Yeah, I didn't really have any. I just knew that it had a lot of planets and that it was like an exploration game. That was basically it. I'd seen a few photos of it on like IGN and bits like that, and I knew what it was going to look like.
Yeah.
But that was basically it. I didn't watch any videos on it or nothing like that. I just thought, everyone's getting it, so, jump on the bandwagon sort of thing.
Not a great deal out either. during the
No,
last few
yeah,
months,
yeah.
so that does help. You know, I would have preferred to have this in the earlier summer because there's been nothing really of note for a couple of months. But this falls outside your typical kind of gaming preferences. There's no, as I said, the story's very light touch. You know, would you say you're actually enjoying this, or have you gone up and down with it? Because you seem positive on your first day, and the second day you seem to have hit a bit of a brick wall, going, "What the hell am I doing here?"
Well, basically, I got off the planet. I was really proud of myself. You know, proud of my ship. I thought, oh, it's not too bad. And then it just sort of died a death there. I was like, I don't see the point of this anymore. Like, everything's just a fucking hassle. That's how I see it. So you go and see a group of planets, and you get to the planet, and you think, right, so this is a different planet. This is a different system now. You wander around. You go, well, it's pretty much the same as the old one. It's a different colour. The plants are slightly different. And then I think, right, let's go to another planet. And then I've got to power the warp drive up, so I've got to do more mining. I've got to sell shit. You just think, oh, it's not fucking worth it. And then when you do it all and take like 4 hours of getting all the gear together to then do like warp into another system, you get there and you think, this is the fucking same as the one I just left. This is just another abandoned shithole with nothing here.
So it's a struggle because you can end up with shitholes basically for all your planets, and it's not very enjoyable. Like I think there's 4 planets in my current system. 3 of them barren rocks, nothing. And I was
every one I've been to is a barren rock. I must be just fucking barren rock magnet because there's nothing.
This is the problem, isn't it? Because it's because no one sat there and designed specifics, a specific route for you to go down, a specific system for you to hit, so you hit, interesting stuff. It's randomly generated, so you the in its nature, although it's got scope to be interesting and the tech there is really impressive, you can end up just with shit for hours and hours on end, which unfortunately is just the nature of procedural generation. You don't know what you're going to get. It's like a lucky dip, isn't it?
It's like a box of chocolates.
Wow.
It's a box of shit is what I've got. Honestly, like the last 3 planets I've been to, when you land on the planet, it gives you like a list of what's on the planet. So it's fauna, floral, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And
nothing, I bet it said.
The fauna, I think that's the animals, isn't it?
Yeah.
It has said nothing for the last 3 planets. So I just think, this is just what I just turn up and I'm like, well, there's nothing here. What am I going to do? Why am I going to spend a lot of time on this planet? There's nothing here.
Learn
and then
the
you travel to.
language.
Learn a word. Woo. And that's another thing I don't get. It says you're sort of you've grown like close to like a group of aliens. What does that mean? What do they help me out? Do they give me stuff?
Yeah. So if you bump into one at an outpost with their man or whatever, if you've got a certain level of affinity with them, i.e. you're in their good books, they can give you items, they can give you new blueprints, tech. I even got a brand new fucking multi-tool off them, a proper good one as well.
Look,
just because in their good books, and that got flushed away because that bloody redeeming bullshit pre-order that cost me. I've lost that, but they're everything's there for a reason. Like but it's just whether you can figure out what the reason is at the end of the day. Logan, you were sniffing there. What was you going to try and butt in with? Forgotten. Excellent. So as I said, this is a very open-ended game, and it's a nightmare game for me, really. So as I said, I restarted one. I actually restarted twice because I restarted after 5 hours. Got about 20 minutes into the new one and thought, I can't be fucked. Just turned it all off, deleted it, then come back to it and started it. But you can get yourself right stitched up and whatnot. The reason I restarted originally was because, and this is one of the problems I have with the game, is there's no kind of... You've got that galactic map which shows you all the planets you can warp to. Good, right, it's excellent. There's so many stars, like you don't know where you're going. It's, you can do what you like and do what you want there. But there's no way of tracking back to a previous solar system. Like it doesn't mark it in the galaxy. So the first time I warped away from my first system and I hadn't visited all the planets. One of my main things was I wanted to at least visit all the planets in each system, have a little wander around. Warped away thinking I'll come back and deal with that later. Nope, lost.
Yeah, I don't like that either. That bugged me because I can't get back to the original system I was on. Yeah. And I don't know where it is.
You'll never find it because it's so big. 80 quintillion planets and it's sitting there and you think, well, where's that? That is a problem for me. And not having some sort of solar system map is a bit of an oversight, or at least just logging where just a little icon saying, even if it's miles away, so it's here, and so you could jump between them because you've been there. And it's the same problem when you go on a specific map as well. A specific planet. There's no map. Like you land and you open up all these checkpoints or what are they bloody called now? I've forgotten. But whatever you outposts and things like that you open up, waypoints. There you go. 3 goes at it. that doesn't actually, it doesn't save its location anywhere. So if you go off the planet, like for example, I went into this hut and it had this good multi-tool in there, and I thought, well, I'll get that. 60 grand. Didn't have 60 grand at the time. So I thought, well, you know what, I'll come back and get that later. Fucked off, went off to another planet, got some money together, went back to that planet. Nope, doesn't log where that was. Couldn't find it because it just doesn't have any kind of memory of where I've been before. And I had that I found really aggravating.
I think this is the problem with it, that it's just too big. It doesn't. It's what Hall was saying last week. It doesn't need to be this big. It's it's pointlessly big.
Yeah, even the planets. I was saying to Logan the other day, I was saying even the planets seem like you could never explore it all. The satisfaction of clearing something out, you just can't get of this game.
No. You're never. Yeah. If you're a.
Yeah. For me, it's a nightmare.
See, this is why I've got this level of exception that I can have with everything. So I can accept. Yeah. I can get to a point and go, right, that's all I'm going to do on that one because, or I'm going to be here for the rest of my life. Yeah. And I have that attitude with a couple of things. I do it at work. I go, right, that's good enough, or right, I've done enough on that. And I'll just do exactly the same on that. Like I've looked over one of my planets and went, right, I want to 100% a few just to get the units or whatever. But I don't want to be feeling like every system I go to, I've got to check everything out, or like, because it's just, you'll end up spending half your life and you'll get nowhere.
Yeah.
It's a really difficult one to balance.
So what I've done is I've installed some rules, guidelines, and you feel free to follow this. So the rules are, when I hit a new solar system, I visit every planet. That's a basic given, because you never know what you're going to find. I found the last planet I visited on my second solar system, incredible planet, like breathtakingly beautiful, had some really interesting creatures, and I was like, wow. And that's a good sort of 10 hours in, and I was getting a little bit fatigued, and then I was like, whoa, this is what that can do. You can have those moments if you're lucky. So I visit every planet just to make sure I'm not missing one of them. I then log 6 outposts or waypoints. I find 6 of those, journal those, so it feels like I've at least explored it to a certain extent. And I scan, if there's wildlife and plants, I scan at least one of those. And once I've done that, I'm happy not to go back unless I need to. That's the only way I can deal with it. Otherwise, I'm going to be restarting every 20 hours.
But this is my problem with it as well. Like you say there, I've discovered a planet. It's absolutely beautiful. Yeah. It's not like you can say, go here, Biff, have a look at it.
No.
Because I can't.
No.
So I could then spend another 20 hours and never see anything that good. I could just end up from one fucking rock to another for the next 20 hours and just think, oh, what a waste of life. Which is how I feel at the moment. It's
an interesting conundrum, because there's going to be people out there that discover all these amazing planets, and there's going to be you sitting there going, well, that's 16 rocks now.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's that's why you'll see the review. I mean, the reviews are slowly trickling out, and it's sitting at about 68%, I think, at the moment, which is fair enough. It's because people will have a completely different experience to others, which is good. I mean, it's amazing that can happen in one single game that's sitting on that little PlayStation 4, that you can have a completely different experience. But if you have a shit experience, there's no refunds coming back for you. That should be they should look at your experience you've had, the game makers, and then refund you money back on your experience or charge you more. So it should be set at £20 for the game. If you have a really good experience like you're having, you have to pay £50. I should get a fucking £10 refund at the moment from what I've seen. Another problem I've got, and I'm going to get all the negative stuff out of the way, is I find space combat really frustrating.
Yeah, it's really slow and sluggish and shit.
Yeah, and it's having to manually top up your shield.
Yeah.
I'm getting the shit kicked out of me. Now I've got to go into a menu, select the shield, recharge the shield, and then by the time I've gone back, half the shield's gone again because I've been sitting there, I can't move. I find that really annoying that I can't just set up some sort of auto regeneration where if I've got you put the element in a certain slot in your inventory, and if it's in there, the game goes, right, we'll use that resource to recharge your shield. Something like that I can decide. I was saying this to Logan, and Logan did rightly point out that it keeps you at least honest and you don't waste your resources by automatically recharging, but I'd still like an option for that to be a hot button, a hotkey or something that you press a certain combination, it recharges it. Not going in bloody menus when I'm getting the shit kicked out of me. It's the only time I've died is through space combat.
Yeah, me too. It's not as if it pauses the game. The game's still going on. You're still getting the shit kicked out of you, and you're in a menu trying to fucking put iron into a shield or whatever. It's like, Have you had any technical problems, Logan? I know you have actually. In fact, when you got put down by the space pirates earlier, your game crashed, didn't it?
Yeah.
That's the only one you've had so far.
That's it. Yeah. Other than that, it runs pretty solid at 30. No drops or increases. It's pretty consistent.
Tell you what, I've just come off a planet, and it was so poor frame rate.
Really?
It's quite a dense, like, vegetation planet, and it was really struggling. I thought it was going to crash on me. It kept going, it must have been going up to 10 frames per second. I was like, Jesus Christ. I felt like the PlayStation was just going to melt. Weren't happy with it. Have you had any problems, Biff, technically, or was it run all right, like in that? Cause
I've not seen fucking anything, so if it did crash on just a rock, I'd be really annoyed.
Give it a bit of a kick in there, but...
That's a bit of a low blow.
Having said that, every time I play it, I've played about 4 sessions now, I completely lose track of time.
Yeah.
Like, whilst I'm actually playing it, the gameplay loop that they have, which some people might not find interesting, the one that I've discovered, the sort of loop that I've got myself in by putting out those ground rules and whatnot, like, I'm almost like addicted to it. If a mini goal pops up, for example, they just seem to naturally happen in my head. I started exploring a world the other day, and then I realised I was 2 animals away from completing that planet, like getting all the fauna for that planet, which is like a little mini achievement. So then I started just wandering around trying to find it, scan it, found the last 2, uploaded it, and that became my new priority. I rocked up at a space station, noticed that a certain item was selling at 93% above its galactic average. I was thinking, well, these guys are having an absolute nightmare. Went outside the little docking bay, all the traders coming in, had a little shop around, noticed that a few of them weren't cotton on to this, bought it at a low price, fleeced them, sold it at a higher price. And I sat there doing that for a little while, just building up some money. So you can get these little moments that you can create, but you really have to, this is going to be an odd thing to say, you kind of have to meet the game halfway in that sense, because it won't provide it for you. And that is sometimes a problem. Logan, is this what you expected?
Yes and no.
Well, that's not the answer.
Fucking hell. Can you not just give like a straight answer?
You've not been on the podcast with me before, have you, Biff?
No, I've listened to a few.
We have to edit most of the bollocks out. That's the trouble.
We have to do 2 hours worth, then we get lucky to get content.
So I was expecting it to be a exploration game. I was expecting more variety, and that may be a bit harsh for me considering I have warped just the once. But I don't know. I just feel like at the moment I'm getting into a circle of scrambling enough together to get a warp core, to bung that in, to then warp and then scramble all that shit together again. I think I'd be more inclined to just bin a system if I could just freely warp, like I can freely travel between planets. If I could freely travel between these galaxies, basically, that I would probably be more inclined to go, right, planet of rocks, get me out of here, I'll go and have a look at the next one.
Yeah.
But because I've got to collect all that shit, I have a look anyway. Yeah, so it's probably 60% around where I expected it to be. There's a lot of hype around it, which I don't feel is necessarily justified after playing it.
Oh. Insulting it now.
No, because it is good, but it is also very limited, I think. And I can't see myself sitting on this game day in, day out for the next 3 months. I mean, they need to do something else with it. They can't just leave it as it is, and I don't for a minute necessarily think they will, but it will need something else other than this exploration thing to keep me going on it.
So, Biff, you're not very happy with it so far, but what could they do? Go on, what could they do to improve it, or is there anything, or is it a lost cause?
I mean, basically, I think it's like what I'll compare it to is a couple of weeks back, a plane travelled all the way around the world just using solar power. Yeah. Okay, now that technology isn't available for everyone at the moment. That will filter through in 10 or 15 years' time. And I think this game is showing you what we can do. But in 10 or 15 years' time, we'll look at this game as like a landmark and go, oh, that's where it sort of come from.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? So I don't think this is fantastic at the moment, but I think it's the beginning of something where it will be a much bigger thing. So in 10 years' time, you know, they might do like a Grand Theft Auto style game where it would be like this, but there'd be loads of planets and there'd be a whole world on it, and it would be much more to do, and everyone would be singular, and it wouldn't sort of just be randomly generated. And it would spawn from this sort of what they've done here, basically. That's how I feel, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. What would you? Is there anything you'd change, like in the state that it's in now? Like, so you've got the limitations there. It's going to be a planet exploration game. Is there anything that they could add that would interest you?
Maybe put like actually proper sort of aliens on a planet. So like
wandering around.
Yeah, wandering around, and then some hostile, some not. At the moment, it's just a lot of animals. I mean, not that I've seen that many, but there's some animals that wander around. But I haven't seen anything bigger than sort of a rat sort of thing. I've not seen anything that's like.
I've seen some fucking massive things. I'm not gonna.
So that annoys me. I haven't seen anything like that, honestly.
Got to get out there, mate. Explore the galaxy.
It takes 2 hours to fucking fuel the warp drive, and then you get there, and it's just another rock, and you just think, oh, what's the point?
That is a problem. It is. The nature of the game is that it can be an issue. For some players, are going to have a really. Like I've heard stories of people land like when the first planet you get on, it's like a really hot, fiery planet. And you can't wander outside for more than 30 seconds before your shield depletes. Like, imagine that as an introduction to your game. You'd be like, "What is this?"
Yeah.
I mean, you have to get fortunate or not. I mean, I'm quite happy with what I've seen so far. I've had a lot of rocks, but I've had some really good, interesting places to go. Trouble is, all the planets have the same things. They all have outposts. They all have the same beacons, the same crash ships, the same observatory towers. That's a problem I find with it. All the bits and all the landmarks you visit are identical. Once you get there. The planets themselves are really diverse. The animals are well, obviously they've been. They're out there. Get out there. Get them warps done. But the actual landmarks and the content of the planet is a bit of a struggle. They mentioned that you're unlikely to meet up with people online, Logan. Yeah. I've said to you earlier, I don't think that even exists. This online play. Do you think that's a bit of a fib? That you can meet up with people, it's just extremely unlikely. The reason
what would you look like?
Well, this is the problem. The reason I say that I don't think online play exists is because you can pause it. That immediately to me suggests that it's not an online game. How many times have we played online games? Destiny, for example. Can't pause that fucker, can you? You're like, oh, fucking can't pause the bastard. It's shit. But it means just because it's online, it's constantly going to other people doing stuff. You can't just pause the whole galaxy. On this, you hit pause. And you do pause. So
I'll make a cup of tea then.
That immediately suggests to me that there's the online the promise of being able to meet up with people or suggesting it potentially could happen, no matter how slim. I don't think it's capable of doing at the moment.
I don't think it. I mean, it's struggling as it is. If you start introducing a social element to it, it's going to struggle massively. I think.
I do feel that they kind of suggested that was possible.
However, it's possible if you've got the technology and the hardware to do it. But I mean, look, they could easily go right. We're bunging it all on a central server now. Everything. I mean, look, they even did it. When they released this update, they went, well, everything will change. Yeah. So what you've got is the same, like on the day one. If you had it before then, they basically went, everything will change. So they could just bung it all on one central server and go, right, everything's changed. Yeah. You're now logging onto that. It's going to be a social thing. But I don't know. I do like the idea of me being able to get in a ship with you. So we say, right, let's meet up here. I'll get on a ship with you and we'll go and explore together. Yeah. I like the idea of that, but I think it's a pipe dream.
Yeah. The end game for me would be that one day I can create a portal. So I go and resource and get all the tools and bits and bobs. I create a portal, like a warp portal. You create one as well, or a tracker or whatever, and you can use that to then meet up somewhere. Like you can, that would be the ultimate end game. But I agree with you. I think it's a pipe dream. If we look up what's next in their next kind of patch or update, they're looking at adding the ability to build bases, which is something I'll be interested in, and your own giant space freighter. So there's two things. I think the base thing would be good, but again, if you can't share the base, if it's not offering anything, what are you going to do?
But I don't see why that'd be fun. Like, so you and Logan eventually, if it does, I know it doesn't happen, but if you and Logan meet up, you go to a planet, what do? You're only going to be doing the same shit you were doing on your own.
Build a base together. build a little
It's
house.
It reminds me of Minecraft.
That bit would, yeah. Once the bases are in, it would definitely add that bit.
But
I get what you're saying, Biff. There isn't a lot of... You can't battle it. This is what you're saying, though. If the planets had a little bit more going on, i.e. there was hostile aliens running around, bases to take down, things like that...
Yeah, it'd be something to motivate you to go and look. But at the moment, there isn't. I just think, well, I'll scan the planet, 100% it, go to the same outpost that's a different colour to the rock I've just come from. If you're lucky, see a massive giraffe thing walk by. But there's no motivation for me to go walk to another planet. It's not as if I can go, oh, Joe, you never guess what I've just seen. Go and have a look at this planet, because you can't.
No, it's not there. It's a problem. Definitely. It is a problem. And I'm I will eventually review this, but, I can't, I'm enjoying it, but I can't sit there and honestly say I'd recommend it to everyone or many people, because for me, it's an out and out survival sandbox game. That is what it is, and its basic form. It is a survival game. So if you don't like those games, you're not going to like this. It's got no real narrative pull there. It's got huge scope, for like exploration and doing whatnot. But there's a big onus on resource management. That is a problem that I know Logan's run into with his slots and his inventory and whatnot. If you try and plough through the entire game, like try and just get to the centre of the universe, wherever that is, I think it really exposes the game's limits. So you do the same things over and over, and there are certain actions that will get you to places quicker, so you end up doing a rinse and repeat job on it. If you do have the restraint, like say what Logan's doing, if you have the restraint to sit back and just go with the flow, then you will get a much better experience out of this. But I do worry that the novelty will eventually run dry, and it'll be like Groundhog Day with different colours, which is an issue. I would like them to add side quests as well, just if we're going to do an open letter to Sean Murray and the guys at Hello Games. Like, you go and meet these aliens in the outpost. There's some bollocks scenario you've got. I quite like this scenario, actually. You choose to give them a resource, or you choose a certain action. Depending on what you do, they'll be happy with it or not happy with it. I would like them to then start giving out quests. Go and take out X base. They're not there yet. Go and collect X resource for me. Don't have to do them, but it just gives something a little bit of purpose sometimes. Mm-hmm. I know people sit there and go, "Oh, fetch quests, they're shit," and I go, "Yeah, they are shit." But you at the moment we've got nothing.
Fetch quest is better than no quest.
Yeah, and if you look at something like The Witcher, that's how you do a side quest. So it's never going to get to that stage. But there are things like that they could experiment with. I'd like to see those added, but I reckon in a year's time it'll be a very different game. There'll be a lot more to it, hopefully, and it'll play differently, and there'll be different things to do. Because I can't see how they can get away with leaving it like this for a whole year. They're adding bases. That suggests to me they've got ideas. They want to build this game further out. And what they've done here is gone, right, let's get it out there. People wanted it. It's been shown for 2.5 years. It's out there in its first form. Let's go behind the scenes and work on trying to improve it. But high level, Biff, will you continue playing this game, yes or no? No Man's Sky, or is it going to get in the trade pile?
It's going in the trade pile, I'm afraid. I might have another little stint, see if I can discover any animals. But if I walk to the next system and it's out of fucking rocks, that will be the end of it. That really will be it.
I can't argue with that. I can't argue with his experience, because it would infuriate me if mine was like that. It's such an odd game. What would you trade it for? Because there's not a great deal out at the moment. Is there? You got an eye on Deus Ex, or Mafia 3's coming out? What we looking at?
Maybe Mafia 3, or just keep it in the bank. Just when VR comes out, just money in the bank,
Stop
innit?
living for that pipe dream.
That VR could be worse than No Man's Sky for you, Biff.
That's fucking impossible. That is it. Unless the VR is a rock, then it's fucking impossible for that to happen.
No Man's Sky VR edition.
I think that wouldn't be far off coming, to be fair.
There'll be an experience.
It will be.
That would be absolutely mental. Logan, for you, do you continue playing this No Man's Sky?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. I don't feel like I've done enough on it. But going forwards, I think they do need to do something with it, because I think it will start to wear on me after a while, especially in that 2-week holiday that I've got.
Yeah, that'll be the make or break. Once that 2 weeks is gone, how much have you played it, and did you actually enjoy it? But I think we can draw No Man's Sky to a close. It's a very diverse game. It's interesting. I'm glad. I'm not glad. I'm glad I did get it. Like, I don't regret getting it, and I hope that you feel the same, Biff. But just to experience it. But it sounds like the rocks have really got up your nose, and you might.
The only hope I've got for the game is that Piper has exactly the same experience that I do. If he goes rock after rock after rock, it would have been worth me paying 50 quid for it.
He will sit there. He will sit there for hours on end until it justifies the hype.
Yeah, I think that's the case. Yeah,
he will not allow this one to get away from him.
To be fair to him, though, he said something very interesting when we were speaking a couple of weeks ago.
He doesn't say anything interesting ever.
Well, was it last week, Redmond? Whenever it was. Anyway, yeah, it was last week. He said, he said something along the lines of people need to get in check what their expectation is for it. And I think he has a good handle on knowing what it is and what it isn't.
Yeah.
So I think that although he's excited for it, he knows it's going to have its limitations. It's going to be in that survival sandbox genre, which...
It's exactly what he loves.
Yeah.
He loves this shit.
Exactly. So it'll work for him unless he gets rock after rock. Like poor Biff. Mr. Biff, thank you for joining us on this particular segment. We're going to say goodbye to you, and me and Logan are going to carry on with some of the odds and sods for the last week or so. So thanks for that, mate.
All right, no worries. Catch you later.
Ta-da. So, Logan, we've got a couple of bits and bobs here to go through. All feels like a bit of a downer now, actually.
No, I don't. I think Biff brought us down. I think he sucked the life out of us because we both like it.
Yeah, but I think he's the key is I'm not going to say he's wrong because what he said he's justified in having that opinion.
I think so.
Because he's random. At the end of the day, it's procedural generation at its best or at its worst.
Every gamer should play this game. I think it's a gamer's game in the sense of that nothing like this really has been done before, and that it needs to be played to. You need to at least experience it at some point.
Yeah, I mean, it's great moments, isn't it? When you land, when you first leave your planet and you go up into space, there's no load screens. Then you go to the next planet, you enter its orbit, and you think this is breathtaking. And when you do land on a planet that's really nice, it's great. But
I mean, I've had a couple of alright planets. I've had a couple of rocks, but you just get off the rocks quicker and go try and find the next nice one. That's the key.
Yeah.
Acceptable losses.
Acceptable losses indeed. No Man's Sky will continue to divide opinions, and I'm sure we'll check back in with people as time goes on. The Master Race crew have all got it. They had it a few days later. They've all started piping up in the last few days. You know, it'll be interesting to get their opinions. We're going to move on to some other bits and pieces. Nothing overly interesting. I say that I shouldn't say that because people will turn off. But there are very interesting bits of news coming up in the next 20 minutes or so. White Xbox One S 2 terabyte models sold out forever. So I didn't even realise this was a limited edition, to be honest.
No, neither did I. I thought it was just the next one they'd start selling.
Yeah, apparently not, and they're all gone. I'm surprised. I'm assuming they sold well. I don't know how many of these they made. It's a
50. Oh,
exactly. And I'm gonna make the assumption for the case of developing and discussion that there was a decent amount of these, and they're all gone. Yeah. So that the Xbox One has probably had a surge in sales. Are you surprised that they've shifted, all of them? Considering after E3, I look at it and I go, right, they've announced that One S, fine, but they've also announced the Scorpio, which shits on it. Why would anyone bother getting this Xbox One S? People are.
Yeah, I don't understand that. I don't understand why it's sold like hotcakes.
It's white. That's why I told you these white consoles are
all black. Everything is black. TV, PS4, Xbox, but all black.
It's for white headset, white control, white Xbox 360, white Nintendo Wii. So it's taken over, mate.
Yeah, I don't know.
But it's weird. I think it was quite cheap. The editions that are coming. Well, it wasn't cheap. It's $350, but it's 2 terabyte. I do wonder whether now we're getting to that time in the console cycle, and who knows if we're going to have a typical cycle this year with Neo and Scorpio. But I think people are getting to that stage where some PlayStation owners are thinking, do with a second console now.
There's fuck all going on that Xbox, really, though.
Not
lots happening.
You've got Gears coming up. People that like Halo can go and play. Don't forget, there's games that have already come out that have been exclusive to it, and Sunset Overdrive and other. There's plenty to name, but I get a feeling that it's maybe people looking for a second console. I can't see people who've already got one unless they love it, and there's people out there that do. but a general kind of impartial person who's got one, like a Hall, he didn't go out and get it, even just for the 2 terabyte. That would have been handy, but it's not worth paying another 350.
It's dear though. It is dear. My Xbox, when I first got it, was to all intents and purposes 350 quid because I got Titanfall with it.
Yeah.
So it was 350 quid then in 2014. So here we are 2 years later, people buying it up for 350 quid. So
2 terabyte.
Yeah, it's got 2 terabyte. Fair enough. I mean, I must admit this storage issue, yeah, it isn't enough, but actually I can work around it quite easily, especially when I've got 2 consoles and I'm not buying everything exclusively on one.
No.
So I kind of think, well, that and storage would never be enough to make me buy a new console anyway. So I just think, right, I don't know who's buying that. No. I generally can't, and it's a weird time of year for it to happen as well.
Yeah, middle of summer. Yeah, that isn't an odd time.
So
it's
surprising.
They've got other editions coming. They've got a 500 gigabyte, which will be 250 quid, and then a 1 terabyte edition, which will be 300 quid. I was talking about the second console thing. Perhaps if you were, if you had a little bit of foresight, if you wanted a second console, you go, to be honest, I probably don't need 2 terabyte.
Yeah.
Because I've already got the PlayStation, that's clearly their choice. I'll wait for the 250 pound one to come out because it's not as, you're not investing as much. So maybe that theory's completely dead in the water.
Well, that's what I did with my PS4. Saw 250 quid and went, I'll have that.
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah.
Because I think that's but 350 for a second console still would seem excessive. But you get people that just like having the tech and that have got the money, and
it's true.
They buy it up. So I don't know. It's a bit strange though, and it's a bit odd that it's only limited edition.
Yeah. I think there's a version coming out again, another 2 terabyte one, but it's the Gears of War console.
Yeah.
Which Hall. I'm going to try and talk him into that. I don't think he'd buy it, but it would make my year if he bought that, just for whatever purposes. But yeah, white Xbox One 2 terabyte. There's no announcement on the other 2, so the 501 terabyte editions. No, we don't know when that's coming, but they are sold out forever. And if you've got one and you don't want to play it, sell it on eBay because people will buy that for 500 odd quid, I reckon. PlayStation Neo reveal set for the 7th of September in New York. It's going to be called PlayStation Meeting. We knew that the Neo was lurking. They come out and admitted it at E3 saying, yeah, it's there, but we're not going to show it. It looks like they're ready. What's going to happen here then?
It's hard to call.
Yeah, I think we'll say like proper predictions until close to the time.
Yeah.
But I guess one thing that we could speculate on at this moment, not necessarily what it is, we'll do that later on, but there are rumours that it's going to come out this year.
Cool, that'd be Christmas jobby.
So your prediction, does it come out this year?
Oh, September.
They were saying October, and that doesn't leave any time for me. I was pretty convinced it was going to come out October, but the fact that it's not going to be, announced until September, you think, well, hang on. Typically, when they do these things, 6-month lead up, isn't it? Sort of March time, maybe. But
maybe
you got
it's
NX lurking then.
Jobby. Yeah, maybe they've brought it forward. I don't know. Would it be competing with NX? Ugh.
In March? Well, for me, that is a conflict of interest because if they come out in the same sort of, if say it is March, they come out in March. I was
Sniffometer comes out, doesn't it? Which one?
And it would have to be a choice. Whereas if one came out now, potentially you could pick up the Neo and then save up a little bit more and be ready for the NX. They come out at the same time, and there's a choice that's got to be made.
So what would you be looking for? So say it was released now, or say this year. What would you be looking for? What would from it? What would you want from it for you to go? Yep, I'll be getting that. Like, don't list everything, but one thing that you'd be looking for.
I don't know. It's
hard, isn't it?
I don't know if I even want it. This is fine. It'll play the games better and that, but I don't know. When we first discussed this and the rumours were coming out, my thing was, if they're going to make a new console, make the jump significant. Make it feel like I'm reinvesting money into something good. I guess that's the answer there. I would like it to be improved hardware, run things, a higher not a higher resolution, but run things smoother, be a bit more stable. Not that it's unstable. Yeah, it'd have to just be a graphical increase and performance. If you're looking at frames per second as well, you could maybe get that. Like, let's try and get Uncharted single player campaign in Neo mode run at 60 FPS. That'd be great to play through again. But it has to be significant. That's what I would look for. If it's only marginal, and say it's just an increase in power to enable more virtual reality technology for PlayStation VR, then questions need to be asked and whether it's going to be of value to me.
That's my gut feeling.
What, you think it's going to be VR related, or?
Yeah.
And would you be tempted?
No.
No.
I'm not even convinced by VR at the moment. I've been watching quite a bit of the VR games that are out.
Yeah.
And there's not one of them that I've gone, I really could want that much to sit on it for a long time and play it.
Yeah, there's no system sellers, is there? That's the problem they're having. The software always dictates the tech at the end of the day. If the software's not there, there's no point having the tech.
I never buy first gen stuff anyway.
Well, the Xbox says otherwise.
Well, all right. So I know what I'm getting from the console.
Yeah.
But for phones, gadgets, like Apple Watch stuff, like iPads, all that stuff, I ain't buying the first one. I'll get the console because I know it will last the distance. But
Neo and Scorpio on the horizon.
Well, I just don't know whether they're needed yet. I don't know whether they're just going to put it out there and go, right, in the same way that Big Phil said, he went, if you want it, get it. If you don't, no sweat.
Well, that's the key, isn't it? He did say that no one gets left behind. They've got to stick to that. PlayStation have not said that. So you could get a potential where someone develops something for the Neo only. I think that'll be a little bit suicidal in terms of your PR, because people who can't afford the Neo will be livid.
They want to sell. They want to make their market as big as possible.
Mm.
So if they're starting to sell stuff specifically for Neo, then they're just cutting themselves off, aren't they, to the rest of the market?
Yeah. You can understand someone sitting there in an office though, with his feet up on the desk, going, "I'll tell you what, if we make this so that developers can develop just for the Neo, more people will buy the Neo." Like that's how his trainer thought. He'll sit there with his feet up and have a cigar and think, "Yeah, let's do that." Like, you could potentially see someone in a business sense doing that, despite what people would think and do, because I think people would buy it. I'd be tempted. It's stupid, but
the thing is, though, as Phil said, where they make their money is off the software, not the hardware. So by creating software to make people buy the hardware, it's the wrong way round.
Yeah, you're right. Be interesting though. So we've got that in a few weeks' time, 7th of September.
Yeah.
New York jobby. Not that's what's taking place. Bit of a shit name, PlayStation meeting.
Yeah, name it something a bit more exciting.
Yeah, poor Sony. But yeah, I think it won't come out this year. And you're going to say,
if it's just an up-resed basically console, then I've got a feeling they'll go for a Christmas launch.
Right, so you're going for this year. That's what you're expecting.
Yep.
Put you on for that. Rocket League Rumble.
Yes.
Next month's free update will include a new mode that will have power-ups, 11 in total. This will include things like grappling hooks, punching fists, magnets, mini tornadoes, kicking tools, all sorts of stuff.
I love this shit.
Well, look, it's what I was going to say. Is Rocket League the gift that keeps on giving?
It fucking is, isn't it? I love Rocket League. And the way that
it's over a year old now.
Yeah, that's fine. Honestly, they could keep this. I would be quite happy for them just to keep messing around with it for years. I don't feel the need. It's not like it runs well. That I can't criticise it for that.
Yeah.
It's good fun. Just keep adding little bits. I mean, this is the only time where I think keep bolting shit on. To be fair, bolt that shit on, because whatever they do, they're not ruining it. They're making it more fun. Every time, every little thing they do, they go, "Yeah, we'll try that." And then if they like it, all right, we'll keep it on there. Like the hockey puck mode. People love it. We'll keep it on there, even though it's not Christmas. Middle of summer. So, it's great.
They are good. And what they do, when they add these things, they're all optional. If you don't want them, you don't have to. It doesn't change the game fundamentally. It just gives you an opportunity to try it if you want. And if you do like it, you carry on playing it.
Yeah.
But that's a great little mode. The way that some outlets have described it, it's going to be like a bit like Mario Kart of the power-ups, which sounds interesting, with the football roaring round. It's got to be better than Lucio Ball, isn't it? How is that? Hall was on and he said it's a bag of shit. You're laughing, and that suggests to me that it's not competing.
Yeah.
What's wrong with Lucio Ball? It's Blizzard. They don't do stuff wrong or badly.
It's safe to say that this is better.
I'm not surprised. If Lucio Ball was better, I'd be worried for Science. How have they done that? They've created a first-person shooter, bolted on this Lucio Ball, and it's better than Rocket League.
Yeah.
That'd be an absolute disgrace if that happened. But
can you imagine?
Oh god, that would be a disaster.
Stumbled upon it.
Yeah. Do you think they'll do a Rocket League 2 eventually, or do you think they'll just keep adding? Because I can't. Well, I know where they're making their money. It's cosmetics. I mean, you went and bought a little Batman thing, didn't you, or something?
Yeah, it's quite cool.
Yeah, so there's little money being made there. Do you think they'll bother with a sequel, or just keep adding this on? And would you even want one? I mean, I know I wouldn't, because it'd be. This is free. I didn't have to pay for it. I'm getting all these modes, but. I kind of think it doesn't warrant a sequel. What else can you do? You can add these modes in, but what would make it Rocket League 2? Oh, I've got to get that instead of playing this.
Yeah, exactly.
They shut the servers down. You fucks. I've got to get it.
If they're going to keep giving me stuff for nothing, then why would I want another one anyway?
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't. I think you're quite right. It doesn't feel like they could do any more with it at the moment anyway. So maybe
league system. Online seasons like FIFA, that's what I was looking for.
What, so like me and you go up in ranks, we start in the bottom league.
So you do 6 games and then you have to get a certain amount of points.
That'd be good.
FIFA.
Yeah, literally, that'd be good.
It's the only thing I'd say is missing from it. You've got competitive mode where you get a rank, but I just don't personally buy into all that rank. I don't care too much. Whereas a league, I think that's quite good. You get promoted, it gives the games. Certain games, a little bit more oomph behind them, and I'd be happy to do that. But that's
interesting if they do sound like that, or maybe it's just too much hassle.
Yeah, there is competitive in there, but I'm not entirely sure how it works. But a league system, it is football with cars. Why not?
Yeah, no, it makes sense. It does make sense. I haven't really thought about it like that before. It is football, really. So a league would make sense. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Superb game though. I've not got a bad word to say about it.
Makes you want to play it, just talking about it.
Yeah, fuck No Man's Sky.
Yeah, fuck that shit anyway.
Sure. Poor old Murray. Quantum Break coming to Steam September the 14th. So, just highlight what happened with this. Comes to Xbox One. It's going to be an exclusive actually originally. Then about 4 weeks before its release, they go, nah, coming to PC as well via the Windows Store. Master Race livid. They don't like the Windows Store. It's a bag of shit. It's unoptimized. People
it's
don't.
Fucking crap.
And also, it's that weird thing where I would take the piss out of it, but be exactly the same. You want all your games in one place, Steam. You don't want things coming out. You don't want Origin. For whatever reason, Steam's where you want everything. So there's a botherance to people who wanted Quantum Break. It wasn't there. It was like, do I pay for it on the Windows Store and have this dirty kind of add-on to my PC? Well, now it's coming to Steam. So people had to purchase it through that outlet, and that's an interesting move for me. And the reason why I say it's interesting is because with the Windows Store, Microsoft exclusive like this, they're taking titles. Everyone that buys that game, 100% profit to them.
Yep.
Now they're going to have to give whatever it is, a third of it. So let's just make that up. A third of it to Valve and Steam. That suggests to me what it says to me is Quantum Break wasn't selling very well on the Windows Store, and now they thought, right, it's going to get a bigger audience putting it on Steam. Yes, we'll lose a percentage per unit, but we'll shift more of them.
Yep, that's exactly what I was going to say to you. So if you sell 1,000 copies on the Windows Store, but sell 10,000 copies on Steam, you're still quids in, despite having to give them a third. So that's where they take the title. And unfortunately, Steam's been there for 15 years or something stupid, probably, maybe even longer than that.
Yeah.
And you start going, right, well, it's the established medium for getting it.
Yeah.
Unless they can make that store usable. I mean, the same way that the App Store is easy to use for Apple, unless they can get it to that point. Like, if I could go on my laptop, just in the little search bar at the bottom, type Quantum Break, for example, and then it just has a little thing saying download. in actuality, it does.
Yeah,
I've
it does
just done
work. It does work, but it's just you have to play it through that, and
maybe.
there's people just don't like it at the end of the day.
I like buying things through Steam. To be fair, it's just an easy job done. You got your library there.
Yeah, that's it.
Same way that people probably like using iTunes for their music.
Well, I don't like that, but if people are going to use it, they can. I reckon they'll carry on doing this then, but I think you won't see Gears of War launch on Steam. They'll stagger it again. They'll go, right, it's on Windows Store. Let's try and get as many sales as we think we can there. When it hits the critical mass and when it drops off, and then go, right, now let's introduce you to Steam and pick up those sales.
They're so wanky about it though, aren't they?
Well,
like it annoys me. You don't see Sony doing any of this.
Well, what you see Sony doing is going, oh, Rocket League, Psyonix go, oh, we can do crossplay for you. No. That's what Sony... So, Sony aren't fucking angels. They're full of pricks as well.
No.
They, literally, Xbox like, yeah, let's do it. Psyonix pleading them. Gwent, the card game. CD Projekt Red pleading them. Falls on deaf ears. They just walk away from it and go, no, 50 million consoles, not interested. Don't need it. They're wanky as well. They're both wanky. They're all wanky. Nintendo are wanky. They take down bloody YouTube videos for profit and stuff. They're all wanky. Unfortunately.
I'm glad that term's got used so much in that.
Well, it's a fact, isn't it? That's the trouble with it all. But yeah, it's coming. So people that want it can get it. I think it's actually coming at a reduced price as well. I'm sure I saw.
Was it that good though? Why is Quantum Break getting this level of coverage?
Well, I think because it's one of the first ones that they've done with that play any. Well, not. Yeah, you could play anywhere. I think your save went across both platforms. Right. I think because it's the first one, it's now, like I said, it's going to be a staggered approach. I think everything will eventually come to Steam. It's just going to be 6 months after launch. They'll define a window where they'll release it on Steam to pick up those sales.
The thing is, though, will it be a standard window, or they just decide when to bang it on there? Because otherwise, people will go, "Well, it's coming there in a little while, so we'll just wait for that."
Yeah, that's.
Or they just announce it and go, "Ah, it's going on there now."
Yeah, I think it'll be. They'll have a look at it and say, right, what's the sales like? If they've dropped off significantly, let's get it on Steam. I don't think there's going to be a set window of 6 months, because once people work out the set window,
yeah, that's exactly it. They'll wait.
Yeah, exactly. Whereas if there's a chance that it might not come, and it's just that when they decide that they can't get as many sales through Windows, then people might be, if it's 10% of those people that go out and buy it, they're still laughing.
Halo on Steam.
Well, that's a good point, because that is a very old one. It's not been released on PC yet, and there's always rumours circulating that's going to come, but that hasn't yet. But I think anything going forward, we're going to see something very, very similar to this. Yeah, it's going to be dropping at $40, which is about 30 quid.
Yeah.
So a little bit cheaper. Not that PC people think that's cheap. Unless it's under 20, they complain.
It's a joke, that is.
I'm paying 40 quid for a game. So you just spend 1,500 quid on that fucking rig. You don't want to spend 40 quid on a bit of software. Pull the other one. It's me up. Right, let's do the game releases for next week, and then we'll get out of it.
It's been a ranty episode, this one. We bring out the worst in each other.
I told you before we started off air, I've got a hangover. That's why it's a bit of a mess. But it's what happens sometimes, unfortunately. Let's have a look. Right. It's Tuesday, the 16th of August. Grow Up on Xbox One, PS4, and PC. That is the sequel to Grow Home, which was a PlayStation Plus freebie a few months back. So, platformer type puzzly game from Ubisoft. Uno, Xbox One, PS4, and PC. And then Hitman Episode 4, Bangkok, Xbox One, PS4, PC. I've played the first 3 episodes of Hitman. And after I've played the 4th one, I think I'm going to do an impressions video sort of just over midway through the season and give my thoughts, because I've got some interesting things to say about that. I think I was pleased with the way they staggered it, but I've not played it anywhere near as much as I was expecting. I thought I was going to be dipping in and out of that.
That's the trouble with
going back doing the challenges, but I played through the main bit and I've just binned it and left it for 2 months, and I'm happy to go back. I really thought I would go back and just play it like casually. No, odd. And it's not like it's a bad game, it's enjoyable.
Too much going on though.
But there's been nothing going on, Logan, for the last 2 months.
You've had an impressive backlog.
Yeah, it's still there. No Man's Sky ain't getting it shifted anytime soon, unfortunately. No. Friday the 19th of August, F1 2016, Xbox One, PS4, PC, Professional Farmer 2017.
Saw this shit.
Gonna get it?
No.
Why not?
Look, honestly, I was reading about what they're trying to sell it as, and they're basically saying you can rear your own pigs. And I was like, right, why is a game telling me that's a selling point? I can do that on Minecraft. Why do I want to do that on a fully priced game? Why are we simulating farming of all things that I'd want to? Office Simulator 2018.
But you can go out, get your crops. It's like No Man's Sky. You're looking after your little farm.
I don't know who has decided that needs to be a game, and I don't know who's decided they need to be buying it. It's fucking insane, this world at the moment.
There's a geezer at work who bought Farming Simulator 2016, so there's a market for it.
Why?
Why
would you look everything that's out there and you go, that is the game I want to pay for?
If you like farms and you live in a city, and you've become a city slicker by accident, you're like, I've had to make ends meet, I've had to go in the office. And you thought, I really wanted to always farm.
Right.
People have got an opportunity there.
I'm going to put this to you. What is exciting about sitting in a fucking tractor, ploughing for hours on end at 5 miles an hour?
It's all about building your farm, though, isn't it? Building, setting it up, laying it out.
I ain't having it.
It's resource management again. It's all resource management. That's what it is. It's people find. I'm enjoying it on No Man's Sky, but that's what it is. It's whether you can connect with it. But Farming Simulator is there for people. And then we've finally got Tropico 5 Complete Edition on PS4. That is Friday the 19th of August. Totally wrapped up. Not an overly great deal as per usual, but we are slowly edging our way towards the summer. And Deus Ex is not far off. Then we've got the Final Fantasies of the world, the Last Guy. It's all going to start kicking off very soon indeed. But I think we'll call this podcast to a close, shall we?
Yeah, do it.
I need to have water, I think. I've run out. So I need to get that down my gullet and have a lay down, I think. But if you want to find out what we are up to in between podcasts, then make sure you head over to dimpdigital.com. YouTube footage and content is there if you want to look at it. And
6 weeks old, mate.
Yeah, that is the trouble. But it's a botherance, isn't it, trying to update that website, if we're honest. Like that is a botherance. And I know we've moved our readership, our written stuff to medium.com. So you can find us if you search for Dimp Digital. As far as I can tell, it's not linking back into the site. So I think Chappers has had us over there.
I don't know what's going on at the moment.
No, I said last week I'll figure it out.
I'm fucking lost.
I'll raise a ticket of Chappers.
We need to get a ticket into the IT system and get that through.
And next week,
get escalated.
I'll come back and let everyone know what's going on with the written stuff. That's the written stuff is the only place you'll find Destiny Dave, who's an unsung member of Dimp Digital.
He is.
He's not appeared in any podcasts, any videos, but he's there writing articles, writing opinion pieces.
He's probably my favourite member of Dimp Digital.
Yeah, he's got No Man's Sky, and in the No Man's Sky group we've got on WhatsApp. I've got him named in as Destiny Dave, but it's really annoying because when he's typing, it goes Destiny's typing. Reminds me of some stripper. I'm like, Jesus, what's she doing?
People looking at that going, who are you talking to?
Yeah, Jesus Christ. That's it for now, though. Game over. It's goodbye from Logan.
See ya.
It's goodbye from me, Apps. Thanks for your time, and ta-da.